Good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be a breaking news update video. Since I released the video this morning detailing that North Korea has effectively said that they've authorized launch of nuclear weapons against the United States, a lot has happened. And I really want to focus on a lot of the details in this video because it's important to go through all the information to understand what is really going on. It's really easy to see the headlines and to get worried, to become afraid, and to jump to the wrong conclusion. So let's dial it back to this morning and that press release. It should be noted that while the language was very argumentative, very provocative, really heightened the threat against South Korea, the United States, it really didn't say anything new. For the past week or so, there have been lots of press statements coming out. And in fact, an order from Kim Jong-il a few days ago said that he had already authorized a nuclear strike against the United States. And in fact, earlier this week, there was this great picture going around the internet of him in the wardroom with missile lines drawn to various U.S. targets: Hawaii, Los Angeles, Austin, Washington, D.C. So in and of itself, releasing that statement this morning doesn't really change anything. At that time, there hadn't been any troop movements detected. That's changed a little bit in the last few hours, but it should be noted that the North Korean press agency said that they believe that the moment of explosion is near, and I think that is a fair assessment. Not meaning that it's going to be an imminent state of war, but we are getting to that line that I've been talking about time and time again, where something is going to happen, possibly a skirmish or something, and the danger is that escalating out of control. So, again, that declaration this morning really hasn't changed anything. Kim Jong-un has said that North Korea would attack the United States with nuclear weapons several days ago. So that in itself doesn't change anything. In response to that, China has come out and said, really, settle down. They're starting to move troops towards the North Korean border, and if you're assuming that that means that China is going to back North Korea, don't. Most of us feel that the cautious thing to do would be for China to move troops into the area to prevent people from coming across the border into China. We all suspect that there's widespread malnutrition, starving people in North Korea. So if there was a conflict, you'd have tons of refugees coming across the border, and China just simply wants to protect itself from being overrun by refugees. All right, so what are some of the other stories that have come out today? Well, number one, we have detected movement of a possible KN-08. Now, this is a long-range missile, possibly 3,000 or 4,000 kilometer range that could effectively strike Guam. Now, I mentioned this particular type of missile a few weeks ago. I think actually maybe back even in January. They put them on parade. And it's not known whether or not these are actually operational or not. They just may be for show. Now, the detected movement is on a train going towards the EC, towards possibly one of the known missile launch locations in North Korea. Because on April 15th, you have the birthday of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. So it was widely suspected that this missile launch may be in honor of his birthday. The great leader, I guess it was. Yeah, dear leader was Kim Jong-il, and so Kim Il-sung would be the great leader. So that's what we think is going on now. Now, this could potentially cause a lot of problems because once we see the missile on launch ready, being fueled and so forth, there could be a potential issue where the missile is launched, and if it gets close to certain areas, it could be shot down by several forces, whether it be South Korean, Japanese, United States. It should be noted that when the satellite launched that did cross over Japanese space, the Japanese military said that it would shoot down any missile going over or any rocket going over Japanese territory, and they didn't because it just wasn't very close. So That's one thing to keep in mind. Another story that has come out is that it appears that two North Korean subs have quote-unquote gone missing. Now, military officials here in South Korea have not commented on that. At a press conference earlier today, they said they really didn't have any information on that, and I really can't find a whole lot of information. I first saw that story last night, but it really hasn't been picked up, and not a lot of information. That's basically the story. Oh, South Korean officials have lost track of two North Korean submarines. Okay, so where are the submarines? What were they doing? What's the possible location or destination of these submarines? It could be that they're going out into sea towards the northern limit line. It's my belief that all this is coming to a head in that they're trying to get very, very close to the line as these exercises come to a conclusion with the ROK military and the United States. We could see the submarines surface around the northern limit line. In a statement by the North Korean press, they said that they would not initiate a war, that they would only respond to a physical attack. So a lot of these movements could just be to put missiles or submarines or boats in a position that would threaten or create an air of threatening provocations to South Koreans and force them or entice them to respond and then set off a series of events. So again, I'm not too concerned with the sub movement. It's something that you do need to watch because submarines are suspected to have played a major role in the sinking of the Chonan 2 years ago. So something very much to keep in line. Now, one of the last stories that came out this morning was, of course, that entry was barred once more to the Kaesong industrial complex. And then a few hours ago, it was reported that North Korea had told the manufacturers to bug out, that they needed to clear out all their staff by April 10th. And that went around, and that story has since been retracted. First it was unconfirmed, and then Yonhap posted it, and then Yonhap pulled the story down. Now, the one thing I thought was very interesting, now this was the first thing that popped into my mind, April 3rd is when entry was barred, and the first thing that came out was that there were enough supplies in the industrial complex to keep it operational for maybe 3 or 4 days. So at the very latest, that would be maybe April 7th or April 8th. So stating that all employees had to be out by April 10th really didn't make a lot of sense to me because that's 2 days later than the maximum operational threshold for the complex. So I couldn't see individuals staying there for 2 extra days with nothing to do. So as I said, at this point, the Ministry of Unification is coming out and saying that there was a misunderstanding, that there is no such order for all the employees to come back to South Korea. So that's as of just before noon here in South Korea, South Korean time. I'm going to keep up to date with as much information as I can. If you have a question, please leave it down below, or you can tweet me at ChiRanger. The information's on the screen, and I'll be happy to get back with you and answer your questions as best I can. Stay safe and be awesome.